Let's talk about procrastination in our writing work. As a project manager, I have spent a great deal of time putting together the pieces that connect point to point to point of all the things that I need to get done to lay my foundation to successfully produce the publishing organization that I'm working towards. When you're doing the project management cycle, there's effectively 5 different major categories. Initially, you have phases where you're determining the viability of the project, then you're planning out your project, then you're in the execution phase. The execution phase is where you get the lion's share of your work done. That's followed by basically assessing the pieces and parts and then monitoring and controlling as things work through their cycle. That's important because the execution phase is your 80% of work. And when you've properly planned your project, what you're going to find is that you make all of your money for your project in the execution phase by putting the actual apparatus into place. The execution phase is where you break ground, you're done with the planning, you start building your building, you've laid your foundation, the plans are all certified and ready to go, you don't have any engineering issues, and you can just break the ground, lay the road, lay in the concrete for your foundation, whatever your project is. It's no different when you're doing publishing. You can use the same project management principles when you're producing your book because everything becomes standardized. You're not reinventing the wheel every time. Every time you publish your next book, you're going to be using the same principles through the process. And while you're having that process in place, you're going to get better and better at that project, better and better at executing. It's technically a different kind of system because when you're doing ongoing work, that's operations, that's not project management. The principles are similar. Unfortunately, I have a bad habit of crossing between my project management and my Six Sigma stuff. Six Sigma is more of the operations side. Project management is setting things up so that they can run. When you're getting into the execution phase of building the business to support your publication, the publication is more the operations side. I have reached the point where I have a very specific task to do, and my procrastination is just killing everything. It's making things so difficult. I'm to the point where I've got email to worry about. Now, I have 3 pen names that I operate. I operate my personal name, Doug Franklin Books, Doug Franklin, and then I've got RG Tart, and then I've got A Link. So I've got 3 pen names that I work through. Each pen name requires its own email list. Then I have 2 additional pieces that I need to have email conversations about in email chains. I do contracted book to help people sell their products better, boost their credibility, and provide a gift, which works in that whole Robert Cialdini influence piece. I have an affiliate piece, which is helping people with their own businesses. You help me, I pay a chunk for the referral. Typical affiliate work. Now, granted, this is a quick chat about procrastinating during our writing process, but the affiliate piece is something we need to be aware of. After that, I've got like 5 different genres that I write in. That's kind of a conservative estimate. So as we start looking at 5 genres, 3 pen names, and 2 categories of email, I'm not writing 1 email process. I'm writing 10 email processes. I'm concerned that I have a massive Pandora's box that I'm getting ready to open. I am procrastinating extremely hard about starting my email. It's been kind of a taxing week because there's lots of stuff going on personally, and now I have 1 final piece I need to finish with the foundational stuff for the books, and that's putting together the email list, and I'm procrastinating on it. Keep in mind that I've got between 30 and 60 emails written for each category already. I just need to turn the email thing on, and I do not want to push that button. I know for a 100% fact that as soon as I finish that email thing, I am completely changing gears out of the foundational stuff and getting hard into production of content. The reason the email piece is so important is because I've discussed in prior video, Amazon does a really good job of boosting our content, boosting what we put through the system. If I move 1 name from my website to Amazon, and I do that consistently day by day, Amazon typically moves between 10 and 20 times that number of people in front of my book. If I move one person from my email list onto my books in Amazon through either the website or through direct links through the categories and the genres, what ends up happening is if I move one person per day, it's not just one person per day that sees the book. Amazon starts creating its lookalike audience based upon the people who have taken the time to read my email, click on my email, navigate the website, click on the link to my book from my website, purchase the book on Amazon. Amazon gives greater weight to that transaction than most other transactions. Now, Amazon doesn't release how it runs its back end. The results seem to be that Amazon strongly supports moving traffic from other sources onto the platform. Amazon is interested in the close. So when somebody buys something, that's a close. When somebody has purchased your product, that's a vote of confidence as far as Amazon's concerned, and it creates an audience based upon that person. When we drive a coherent audience into Amazon, Amazon uses its machine learning to go and explore additional people who look alike. So if a bunch of college students are buying a college study manual for anatomy, Amazon begins to establish that as an audience. The one person I send per day turns into 10 or 20 people per day that Amazon shows that book to. You're throwing gasoline on the fire. You're multiplying your effort because you're leveraging through Amazon. I know for a fact when I turn on that tap and I turn on that flow of people, things change dramatically. The procrastination comes in where there's the army training in me that says proper planning prevents poor performance. If I create a properly planned and executed process, I will have much better results. I do not want to attack with my tanks the teeth of the enemy, succeed, and be a dum-dum who didn't pack gas for my tanks. Because my tanks run out of gas, and then the German army gets surrounded in the battle bulge and destroyed because they run out of gas. There's your historical example of what the fear and trepidation is that's potentially driving some of this procrastination I'm suffering. Now, how do we get over the procrastination process? I've got 6 boards of check-off stuff behind me, and I have one board over there that has nothing checked off on the email front. So if I look over at that email piece and I see nothing getting checked off, that's a knife to the heart that I'm doing to myself. Once that is properly positioned, once I start checking that stuff off, once I crack open Pandora's box, it's probably going to be 5 days of work setting those emails, scheduling those emails, creating the autoresponders, running things the way they're supposed to go. Each category is going to need its own landing page. Then the project creep, which I discussed the other day, then the project creep starts kicking in because it's not just email. Every single book that I produce and have produced needs to be edited, and the email landing page needs to be updated. Because if I'm changing the contact information to an automated system instead of a direct email, that project creep is real. The email project is not just a single individual piece because there's a lot of other pieces dependent upon it. Maybe it's intimidation, maybe it's procrastination, but putting that stuff together and just Doug, shut up and execute is where I need to go. I suspect by the end of the week, I will have 90% completion on the email thing. And then it's just a matter of just dive in and get back to what I like doing, is creating books. As the email piece is put into place, there's no more excuses. It's just shut up and execute. Maybe that's where the procrastination comes from, because this email piece is the last thing that I need to do. It's not something I enjoy. I should have done it first. What's the book called? Eat the Frog. I should have eaten the frog first and created the damn email thing, but I made excuses and I pushed it and I pushed it and I pushed it. Granted, the excuses are legitimate. Do I want to be producing emails that link to pages that I haven't written yet? Not really. I'm at the end of my foundational process. It's time to finish this procrastination piece and get about executing. I suspect it's not going to be very long before this is finished, and when it's finished, we're going to probably adjust the things and topics that we're talking about. Less of the foundational stuff, less of the philosophical stuff, and more into the specifics of what's going on writing-wise. I know the creation of the book, the creation of our story is the easy part. It's the soul-killing process of editing, and then it's all that support stuff that goes with to produce a business instead of just sitting down and throwing a book into the void. You don't want to spend 6, 12, 18 months writing a book, finish your book, publish your book, and have it go into the void. There are very few things as painful as spending 18 months writing a book. You publish that perfect book. You have beautiful cover art you've paid a shitload of money for, and nobody buys it. When you have your infrastructure in place, you mitigate that. The excuses go away. It becomes just a matter of executing and writing, producing the new content, and allowing the email and the systems to operate on their own in support of what you're doing. So yeah, it's time to stop procrastinating and do my email stuff. And since I've said it out loud, I can't run away anymore now, can I? Hope you have a wonderful week. I'll talk to you later.